What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Today we are going to be reviewing Loki's brand new album, Release 4. Basically, Loki's version of Forgotten Freshness, his version of Cryptic Collection. It is a collection of singles, it is lost media, it's scrap songs, compiled into one album, giving everything a home. Actually really excited that this album came out. I did not fully expect it to drop when it did prior to his most recent EP, Love, dropping. I reached out to Loke about Dominate, Stay Strong, and Unbreakable, which are singles that he dropped back in early 2022, I think it was. Yes, early 2022. They were kind of stylized the same with an X in place of a vowel. And they were really great fucking songs in my opinion, but they had never been fully released. I didn't know, when they were dropping, it seemed like it was leading up towards an album, an EP of some kind. So I just decided to reach out to Loke to kind of find out what the fate of those songs was going to be. Were they originally just meant to be singles? Were they part of an album that kind of got pushed to the back burner? What was really going on with them? And he pretty much said that they weren't part of Love. They were just kind of similar with the theming of the X and all that. But he did say then that Release 4 was going to be where they would end up landing. Lo and behold, I think it was less than a week after that conversation I had with Loki, he dropped the schedule, his newest schedule, which had Release 4 on it. And I'm like, oh, did not expect that to happen so quick. So immediately knew that those three songs were definitely going to be on there. I've jumped way ahead of myself, kind of diving into the track list of this just a little bit. But regardless, immediately began getting excited for Release 4. Again, it's more of a Forgotten Freshness, Cryptic Collection type album. It's, scrap songs that didn't make it onto an album for whatever reason. So in that kind of way, going into this, it's not like you're going into an album that specifically has a theme, or specifically these songs fit together in a way and are meant to tell a story. They are literally just a collection of songs that don't really have a home. That being said, Release 4, hands down, has not only become my favorite of the four that have come out, but Release 4, in my opinion, has become like this beautiful sampler of what to expect from Loki. The way that this album is put together, the songs that he has on here gives you a little taste of everything that he really kind of dabbles in. And I know I've talked about this in previous videos. When it comes to Loki, I don't really know where to direct people who want to dive into him. He's got a very vast discography. So typically, I would say I would want to know, what are you looking for? Are you looking for horrorcore? Are you looking for wicked shit? Are you looking for just straight rap? Are you okay with a little bit of metal? Do you like experimental music? That's kind of the question I would need to ask anyone who wants to check out Loki, and then direct them from there. Just because he doesn't stick to just one genre. He doesn't stick to just one type of music. He's constantly experimenting. He's constantly doing something different, challenging himself, which is something I absolutely love about Loki. It's why I feel like he is one of the... I just think he's a legend. I think he's very great at making music, not so much being a rapper. I would call him an artist and not just call him a rapper. And Release 4 has 1000% become this is the album now. When people want to check out Loki, I'm going to say, well, hey, check out Release 4. He's got a little bit of everything on there, and I think that'll help guide you from there. Tell me what songs you liked off of Release 4, and I'll tell you where to go from there. So all of that being said, let's jump into the track list. I'm not going to play you all of the tracks that are here. It is available on streaming. You can head over to his brand new... I don't remember the website, but I know if you type in listentoloki.com now, I think it might be lowkeymusic.net. That might be the website that you need to go to, but I will confirm that. I will link it in the description. But he's got a brand new digital online music portal, if you will, where you can actually grab digital versions of all of his albums now. Of course, you can head over to shadowlandshop.com and pick up physical copies of it. And every CD that you order will come with an instant download from that portal that I was just telling you about. But you can head over to Spotify. You can head over to Apple Music. I'm pretty positive it's probably on his YouTube channel as well. So there's definitely ways to go and hear the full album I'm going to just give you guys my top 5, and those are the ones that I'm going to play you samplers for. But the track list is Memory Access 294881, which I wonder if there's a significance to those numbers. Like, is there something specific to those numbers? Give Me a Hug, Villainous, Porcelain Ice Pick, Masks and Machetes, On My Way to Kill Your Bitch, Dominate, Stay Strong, Unbreakable, Till October, On the Road, Hole in the Sky Pulse Mix, Inside the Show, and Memory Disconnect 317144. So going into this, like I said, the 3 singles I knew were going to be on there. They were singles that surprisingly I had been listening to since they came out. I was kind of waiting for them to land on an album with like the anticipation that they were going to be part of an album. And at one point I actually made like a makeup mock-up version of Dedicated and kind of called it like, I don't think I gave it like a specific name. I just made them like part of the Dedicated album. So when I got finished with listening to that standard EP, the 3 songs that he released kind of played and kind of fit that mold. And mainly just because of the song Stay Strong, talking about dedication, you know, and talking about being dedicated. I was like, okay, so this is kind of like maybe a Dedicated 2 in a way. It was where I went with that. So I ended up at one point having them play with the Dedicated tracks, but ended up taking them back off because like it was confusing my Apple Music, because I had an EP from 2015 and songs from 2022, and it was just causing chaos. So I did end up reversing that. But Dominate, Stay Strong, and Unbreakable were 3 songs that I have listened to quite a bit. They've ended up on playlists. And another song on here that got a lot of rotation, surprisingly, because you know I just don't listen to singles very much. A lot of times singles kind of get singled out when it comes to music. But at one point in time, you know, I've made like playlists, and I actually called it Singled Out, where I would just throw singles on that have come out and just listen to those. So On My Way to Kill Your Bitch was another one that actually got a lot of rotation, surprisingly, for being a single. So immediately going into it, those are 4 songs that I had listened to a lot. And jumping back into this album, I had no issues listening to them still. Like, there was no desire to skip them because it's something I was familiar with and that I'd heard a lot, because those songs are just absolutely fucking great. So going into this, it was like, okay, do I give my top 5 to one of those 5? Or do I go with some of the new ones that really fucking blew me away? So I think I firmly have landed on my number 5 being Stay Strong.
Another roll of shipping tape and spin it to death. Office clean as a whistle, but where I'm living's a mess.
Which is featuring Dirty. This was actually the first time I really heard Dirty, and I didn't really pay a lot of attention to who Dirty was at the time until fully diving into a lot of the Mission Infect stuff. But Stay Strong is absolutely great. It's all about being dedicated. It's all about staying strong when you're feeling down, and just really kind of, you know, pushing yourself to get through whatever you're going through and like make your dreams come true. Of course, there's a very fucking awesome reference on the 3rd verse from Low Key, where he talks about going to school with Mr. Johnson's head in his bag. Like,
I can stay up till the morning with a pen and a pad. Then I go to school with Mr. Johnson's head in my bag. And
like a beautiful callback to Ringmaster, to Mr. Johnson's head. So, you know, it's definitely that little cherry of like, I'm a juggalo, and here's my little juggalo reference to you without saying, yo, whoop, whoop, I'm a juggalo, got my hatchet, gonna chop. You know what I mean? Like, without doing the typical juggalo rap thing, like, he gave you that little like nod of like, I'm a fucking juggalo. Absolutely love that one. Number 4. This is where it starts getting really tough, because I really fucking love this album. I would actually rather say I love a lot of the songs on here. This, to me, to call it an album is kind of like, is it really an album or is it a collection of songs? But the way that this is put together, like I said, it's like a beautiful sampler of Low Key's music and what Low Key does musically, that it feels like a really solid like fucking album. And a lot of the ways that the Super Famous Funtime guys released their little outtakes album last year, they wouldn't let us film here. Very similarly, everything is very well polished. Everything sounds really good. Like, a lot of the songs on this, they don't sound scrapped. Like, it's a collection of singles that just never really had a home that now have a home. So I think my number 4, I very firmly want to give it to Till October. And this song here, I immediately, like, when I listened to it, I actually texted the homie Ronebone with a screenshot of the song, and I was like, I think this might be a Metanoia outtake. I think this might have been meant for Metanoia. I don't know if that's true or not. If it is, and it was taken off, I'm curious why. If maybe it didn't quite, if it wasn't quite what Loke was expecting, and that's why it didn't make it on there. But it absolutely is a fantastic song. I really fucking love it. And actually, for me, it actually kind of was reminiscent for me of My December from Linkin Park, which is like a bonus track off of Hybrid Theory for those who don't know really what that song is. And what made me kind of do that is not so much just the fact that it's the month, you know, My December until October, but there's a cadence that Loke has on the hook, till October. It like immediately made me think of My December when Chester said, "This is my December. This is my December." It kind of has a very similar and matching cadence to it, the way that it's kind of drug out. Like, for me, melodically, that those two kind of fit like peanut butter and jelly, and I just immediately made me think of My December, and I love that song, and so immediately started falling in love with Till October as well. So definitely have to put Till October in my top 5. Down to number 3, I think we're at. I want to give it to On My Way to Kill Your Bitch because
I'm on a unicycle and I'm finna slap a rapper. Actually, I'll shoot an arrow right into your Adam's apple. Accidentally axed you into pieces, then I stashed you in the backseat of an Acura to drop you off in Sacramento. You represent the fucking wackest raps I've ever heard. I murk these braggadocious cats, cause socially I'm just a nerd.
Because this fucking song is straight up just like, it's some fuck you music. And kind of similarly, like I was doing with Dominate, Stay Strong, and Unbreakable, On My Way to Kill Your Bitch was something that I didn't really make it like a track for Portraits of Horror, but it dropped so close to when Portraits of Horror came out that I just kind of played the two together. It's very wicked shit, like I'm on my way to fucking kill you, but like it's also like some fuck you music as far as like what we got from Love. Like, I'm on my way to kill your bitch. Like, I'm on my way to kill your favorite rapper. And there's actually a lot of times that when I sing the hook, I actually say, I'm on my way to kill you, bitch. Because it kind of brings it back to a little bit more of the wicked shit. But it's also just like, Loke is a fucking menace, man. And like, when it comes to him making music, he's on his way to fucking kill it. Every fucking time. Definitely throwing that one in. I think I said number 3. Number 2, I'm going to give it to Porcelain Ice Pick. Now, this is actually a remix. This song was originally on Doc Gruesom's album, and I'm blanking on the name because I didn't go look it up first. Robbie from Diff Tug was one of the first ones to say, oh man, I love this song when it was on Doc Gruesom's album last year. And then he actually, you know, I had said I haven't heard the original, so he linked it and I listened to it. I did enjoy the original version as well, but I really like the remix here. And Loke had posted about it on his social media that he actually did the remix for it. And when he made this post, there was something about this song that I really liked. It was hitting on something, but I wasn't really sure on what that was. And he said it really reminds him of some old school, like Twisted meets Prodigy. And I'm like, yes, that's it right there. It like immediately it was that light bulb of like, yes, Prodigy, smack my bitch up. You know, it's just, if you're not familiar with Prodigy, you wouldn't get it. If you are familiar, I think you would get it, especially if you go listen to this remix of Porcelain Ice Pick. So it's definitely one of those where I was like, I vibe with the beat. I vibe with it quite a bit. I actually ended up sending it to Megs because she's been putting together a playlist of similar sounding songs like that and using those to work out too. And, you know, a lot of times when we work out together, I just let her throw on her playlist. And so I was like, this was my way of getting that song on there. So I have something I can listen to while we work out. So results for that have yet to come up yet because, you know, it's a playlist and she usually hits shuffle on it. So, and that brings me to my number one. And at first, and actually, like I said, in the post that Loke made on social media, I had commented on there because he had asked what people's favorite songs were. And I said I might have to give it to Porcelain Ice Pick. But the more that I've listened to this, the more that I'm like, I'm giving number one to Inside the Show.
I know that you know that nobody knows me. Hi, I'm just another replaceable rapper to plug in the show. See, we all are connected. The strings are connected to some kind of master, but I connected the stem in my brain to another dimension surrounded by laughter. Please hold your applause. I am just getting started. I do it all, a movable jaw to spit all these bars with.
This song is, I'm convinced that Inside the Show is a Portraits of Horror leftover. Whether the beat was produced by Seven or not, or if this is like lyrically something that Loke had in his head for Portraits of Horror, I am convinced that it was meant to be part of that album, so much so that when I listened to Release 4, I decided to have a little bit of fun. I queued up Portraits of Horror, and then I took Inside the Show and had it play after Portraits of Horror. So it went from remote control into Inside the Show, and the whole vibe of that song fit like a glove. I really like it a lot. I love the melodic, you know, way that he does the hook.
You're not alone now. We'll be together forever.
There's just so many things about the song that just make me think about some of the different portraits, you know, just the cadence, the way of he's rapping, just the vibe of the beat. It's just how melodic he was on it is very similar to some of the others. It just really, to me, feels like it was from those recording sessions. So definitely had to give it to Inside the Show as my favorite because I just fucking love it. A couple other things that I want to talk about. Give Me a Hug. Definitely a leftover from Love. Totally fit the vibe. He references the album in it. I just love you so much. Give me a hug, bitch. Just give me a hug. Absolutely fits that. I did play around a little bit with listening to Love and I tried to find a spot where Give Me a Hug could fit in. You know, I think at one point I had it play after Fake, and I was like, no, I don't think that really fits there. I had it play after Trust before Heart-Shaped Box. Didn't quite fit there either, and it definitely didn't fit to me after, because, you know, Heart-Shaped Box ends with that gunshot, and I'm like, no, that's like the perfect way to end an album. So I didn't really find a good spot to squeeze in Give Me a Hug. So I'm wondering if that's something Loke kind of had too, and maybe Give Me a Hug was one of the first songs that he had made for that album, and he had a better one that he made, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna take this one off because this one kind of has everything that I'm already saying in Give Me a Hug, but better, you know? It makes me wonder that. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is Villainous. This is the track featuring ROC and Kung Fu Vampire. I did a reaction for it, and I realized that I had misspoke recently in a video. I had talked about, I think it was in my review for Love, actually. I had talked about how Love in the song Happy made me really want to hear Low-Key do something with Super Famous Fun Time Guys. Along the lines of, like, not just a song, I want to hear them do an EP together. I want to hear them do an album together. And then I had said something about Symbiote and not wanting him to do it with ROC and Kung Fu Vampire. And I misspoke on that because Symbiote was never supposed to be the album that was going to be ROC, Kung Fu Vampire, and Low-Key. That was Try Menace. And when the single for Villainous first came out, I totally missed the part where Low-Key says during the hook, Try Menace, and you know, we so villainous. He shouted out Try Menace in that hook, and I completely glossed over it every single time I listened to it until this album came out, and I was aware of the poll he put out last year where he wanted to do a group project with ROC and Kung Fu Vampire titled Trimenace. So I 100% still think that album would be the absolute fucking shit. And actually, I got to really thinking at one point, and I messaged the homie Gage, aka Wasteland Waldo, about this. I said, if Low-Key does a House 3 album, I kind of want it to be produced by ROC. That way it's like this beautiful callback or connection to House of Crazies. How fucking dope would that be to have an album called The House 3 produced by ROC and have it just like have beats that are very House of Crazy vibes? You know what I mean? That would be pretty fucking sweet. I don't know what their relationship is like. I don't know if it's just kind of guest features that they're going to, where ROC is going to do a guest verse for Low-Key. Obviously, I think he's trying to work on doing this Trimenace thing. But like, if ROC was to produce some shit for Low-Key and it turned out to be like the House 3, that'd be pretty fucking sweet. Just saying, just trying to manifest that out there. But yeah, I think Trimenace would actually be really fucking sweet. I think that the way that Kung Fu Vampire like spits, the way that he does his like gymnastics on the way that he does his verses and shit, I think would be very unique with Low-Key. Obviously, the way that ROC rhymes is very unique. I'm not a huge fan of ROC's like rhyme patterns that he does. But I think the project would be very unique in a way that it would be something fucking dope. So I would definitely absolutely love to have Trimenace be a thing. But then that made me realize that Symbiote is actually, when it was on the poll as an underground collab album. Don't know who all that entails, but that made me go, oh, so Symbiote could be Super Famous Funtime Guys and Low-Key. And to me, it was just like my brain went like Venom, because a symbiote, Venom is a symbiote, and he ended up, the symbiote ends up leaving fucking Spider-Man and Eddie Brock. I'm not 100% familiar on my Spider-Man shit, okay? I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I know a little bit. I know enough to get me by. But I know that the fucking symbiote ends up in fucking, is it Butch Cassidy? Is that his fucking name? I think. Super crazy fucking psychotic guy. And that's how we end up getting Carnage. So like Carnage is like an offspring of Venom, and that's their relationship. And in a lot of ways, fucking Low-Key doing shit with having 8 Legs do his art and then going on tour with Whipstick as his hype man. That's how those two met, and that's how the Super Famous Funtime Guys eventually came to be. There's some similarities, it's kind of like Super Famous Funtime Guys are like an offspring of Low-Key, if you will. They're like a product or a child of Shadowland, if you will. So Symbiote could be Low-Key and fucking Super Famous Funtime Guys. Just saying, it could be like that. But I did want to speak on that with Villainous, because I realized that I misspoke and said that that ROC, Kung Fu Vampire, and Low-Key together was supposed to be Symbiote. They were actually going to be Trimenace, and Trimenace would be absolutely fucking dope. Maybe a little bit lower on the list for me, because I really am kind of fucking yearning for the next Oracle. And I'm definitely yearning for that symbiote shit. If that's what Symbiote's going to be. Like, I'm really yearning for the Super Famous Funtime Guys and Low-Key together. And honestly, I think I'm also kind of ready for the next Neon Sermon just a little bit. But Trimenace would be absolutely fucking dope. There's just so much dope shit that I know Low-Key is going to do that I don't want to manifest too much. You know what I mean? I don't want to manifest too much. But anyway, if you guys have listened to Release 4, tell me down below what you guys think about it. What are your favorite tracks? I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.